Okay, good morning. We are going to pick up where we left off on Zero Escape, the Nonary Games 999. We were here about to make our second... One second, let me test out some... Make sure everything's coming through loud and clear on the stream. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, it seems like I can be a fair ways away from the microphone and still have it pick up. Alright, moving the microphone back. Alright, let's see. Are committing to getting a particular kind of ending right now. So we're at the second impactful decision of the game, which is which door to go through next. Pretty much in this game, the impactful decisions are which doors you decide to go into in what order. Alright, we're gonna do number 8.
I think I'm gonna go with door 8. Okay, 8 it is. Yeah. Alright then. That means June's gotta go through 7.
What? Why?
What?
Santa grimaced and muttered angrily to himself, but finally began to explain.
If the 6 of us are gonna keep going without leaving anyone behind, there are only 3 ways we can do it. Have 3, 5, and 8 go through 7, and 4, 6, and 7 go through 8. 4, 5, and 7 go through 7, and 3, 6, and 8 go through 8. Or 3, 6, and 7 go through 7, and 4, 5, and 8 get 8. There are no other combinations. In other words, 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 can never go through the same doors. You get it now?
As Santa finished, June looked over at Junpei, tears welling up in the corners of her eyes.
No. You're saying we aren't going to see each other again for a long time.
I mean, obviously less than 9 hours. Junpei felt just as June did. He wanted to be at her side through whatever trials they were preparing to face. But he knew if they were to survive, he had to swallow his feelings. In order for the 6 of them to move forward, he and June had to be separated. He looked at June. He was scared to lose her, but he swallowed, steeled his resolve, and did his best to smile.
Hey, come on. You're making it sound like we're never gonna see each other again. We gotta split up, but only for a while. This is just like when we went into the 4 and 5 doors, remember? We got split up then too, but we all met back up. I'll bet 7 and 8 are just like that.
You mean they're connected somewhere?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
She didn't sound very hopeful. It was 7 that interjected.
I'm sure they're gonna connect somewhere.
Why? What makes you think so?
If they don't, then neither team can get through door 9. In other words, the game would end right here.
The voice of reason.
Zero's been on top of his shit so far. I don't think he'd blow it now. I'm damn sure that son of a bitch wants to have his fun as long as possible. He's not gonna end this game until we get through the 9 door.
June said nothing. The tears were gone, but her eyes were still sad as they looked at Junpei. He met them, and with what reassurance he could manage, laid his hand gently on her shoulder.
It's gonna be fine. We're gonna see each other again. I promise.
June bit her lip and gave him an almost imperceptible nod.
Yes. Promise?
Her voice was barely above a whisper. Santa's voice shattered the moment.
You guys are done, right?
He stretched and continued.
Anyway, that's pretty much it. Clover and I will both go into separate groups. I figure I'll take 7 and Clover can take 8.
Switching
Any
ears.
problems with that, Clover?
Clover looked away and she was silent for a moment.
Whatever.
Whatever. It was more of a dismissal than an agreement, but Santa didn't seem to care.
All right, we're ready to go then. Let's move.
Let's move indeed. At Santa's command, the group split and headed for their respective doors. Santa, 7, and June walked toward door 7, while Clover, Lotus, and Junpei headed for door 8. For a long moment they stood in front of the door. Lotus laid her hand against her chest and turned to Junpei and
Are you
Clover.
ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Then shall we go?
This door slides open.
It's open.
A narrow hallway stretched out before them.
Okay. Hurry!
Hurry. Lotus and Clover leapt through the door. The moment they did, their bracelets beeped. The detonators in the bracelets had been activated. Junpei stepped forward to follow them. But as he was about to step over the threshold, he stopped. He looked to his left, toward door 7. June stood there, a mirror image of Junpei. She turned and looked toward him. Their eyes met.
Jumpy.
They nodded. Their farewell took almost 1.5
What the
seconds.
hell are you doing?
Then someone took hold of Junpei's arms and hauled him bodily through the door. He heard the sound of the numbered door slam shut behind him. His bracelet gave a cold electronic beep.
81 seconds left. Hurry!
Lotus snapped at him and ran to the dead. Junpei and Clover followed her as fast as they could.
It stopped.
With a shaking hand, she wiped a few beads of sweat from her forehead. Clover, however, was calm, aloof perhaps. She muttered to herself without emotion and began to walk down the hallway, leaving behind a confused Junpei and Lotus. I almost called him Jumpy. Lotus watched the girls receding back with a mixture of frustration and curiosity.
What an unpleasant girl. I bet she's not very popular with the boys.
Okay. Passing judgment on other characters. Her sarcasm seemed a little more biting than was perhaps necessary. I agree. But she sighed and started after the younger girl.
Maybe pairing these two together was a mistake. Too late now. I better catch up to them.
After taking a moment to catch his breath, Junpei followed.
Oh, it's a dead end.
The hallway made a number of turns before at last coming to a dead end.
There's a door on the left, though.
For a few minutes they stood in front of the door examining it. Laboratory. Above the door was a plate with the word laboratory engraved on it.
A laboratory? Huh.
Oh, that doesn't sound very pleasant. I don't like the look of this place.
Me either. But there aren't any other doors. It's not like we have a lot of choices.
Junpei,
Huh?
please. You first.
Junpei suspected her politeness was motivated by something other than respect.
Ugh, fine.
Junpei muttered to himself and pushed open the iron door. That's pushing open a door? Those doors slid open. His first steps inside were tentative and careful, but as he examined the room, it became clear that there was no imminent danger. Lotus followed him in, and Clover brought up the rear. Is this the room from Resident Evil where you have to fight the shark? The room they found themselves in was divided into two separate areas by a curved wall. A thick glass window built into the wall made it possible to see into the other side of the division.
No, I think the window looks into another room.
Maybe it's for monitoring something.
Junpei walked to the window and looked through.
What the hell?
He wasn't sure what else to say. In the center of the room, shaped like a quarter circle, a mannequin lay on what looked like a medical exam table.
looks so creepy.
Junpei jumped a little. He hadn't noticed Lotus come up next to
It's
him.
kind of like that doll is waiting for surgery.
This is a laboratory, right?
Or an autopsy.
Seems more like it's waiting to be experimented on.
Ooh,
It's creepy either way. Don't think that thing's gonna suddenly sit up or something, do you?
well, I don't know. I mean, look at all those cables sticking out of it. If we press the wrong button, I don't know.
Boom. No, I don't think it's gonna boom.
Stop it. Just thinking about it is terrifying.
She was gripping her arms, the knuckles on her hands white.
Wait, where's Clover?
She was still standing near the entrance of the room. Her face had the appearance of calm, but it was drawn and somehow sad.
What is she?
There was something almost pitiful about her. Junpei walked over to her and as kindly as he could,
Are
spoke.
you okay?
Clover looked
What are
away.
you talking about?
What? I'm just worried about you. You've been real quiet.
What? I can't be quiet if I want to?
Nice response.
Well, I mean, of course you can. I just...
Okay then. If I can be quiet if I want, just leave me alone, okay?
Come on, you know I can't do that. We gotta work together.
Clover bit her lip and was silent for a moment, and then
Just don't
suddenly,
get it.
her cry took Junpei by surprise, and he stumbled backward a few steps
My
along.
brother's not the kind of person who'd just leave me behind. Something happened to him. Something bad.
Yeah.
Junpei had nothing to say. Lotus jolted from her mannequin nightmares, but Clover's voice turned toward them.
What happened?
Clover's eyes slid to Lotus and then back to Junpei.
Look, just don't bother me, okay? Leave me alone.
Finished, she turned around. Before Junpei or Lotus could say anything, Clover had begun to walk away quickly.
Hey, wait, Clover! Hold on! That way is...
I told you to leave me alone.
He might as well have been talking to a wall for all the notice she took of his cries. Not even slowing down, she made for a doorway cut in the wall in front of her. Without even slowing down, she passed through the doorway.
Watch out above you.
And without warning, an iron gate fell from the ceiling like a portcullis, sealing Clover in.
What the heck? What's going on here?
Clover grabbed hold of the iron bars and shook them as hard as she could.
Hang on!
Oh, for crying out. You'll never do it on your own.
Junpei grabbed the bars and pulled. In a moment, Lotus joined him. The three of them pulled as hard as they could, but... I think if portcullises were that easy... Yeah.
Damn it! It's not moving.
What is that called in D&D? The, your bend bars lift gates roll? Yeah.
Wait! Are you gonna give up? Just like that?
No, I'm not giving up. This has got to be another one of Zero's puzzles.
If it is, then there's gotta be a way to open it.
Junpei nodded.
Just what I was thinking. Now all we gotta do is find it. Lotus and I can look around out here. Clover, you're gonna have to see if you can find anything in there.
Alright.
Oh, yes, I'm on it.
Seek a way out. Okay, so it's just a rectangular room. And I guess there's... Looks like there's two entrances to the operating room, and then the exit is from the operating room. Weird. Alright, let's see what we got. I guess let's try. And switch the mouse for the clicking on stuff bit. Junpei, do something, please. I'm gonna click on this, then, yeah. Window made of really thick glass. I don't even think a bullet could break it. Silver handrail. Just like an examination table. There's a creepy mannequin here, guys. I don't know what kind of table this is, but part of it's all black. There's a pen lying over there. I think someone probably used it to make the table black. If they only use the pen on one part of it, there's probably something underneath all that pen. Clover, do you think you can erase it? Yeah, sure. Oh, this is a permanent marker. Do you know how to erase ink from a permanent marker? Erase ink from a permanent marker, huh? Give me just a minute, Clover. I'll be right back. It's a rack. There are a bunch of cables on it. Somebody cut the outer stuff off the cables. I can see the wires inside. Those stairs those are the stairs I just came down. The bars and gate are just above me. Alright, in the alcove over here. Oh, that was they washed here. There are these weird colored stains all over the sink. I think this is a monitor for whatever experiment they were running here. There's a bunch of stuff on here like resistance values and voltage. Power's off, and so there's nothing on right now. I wonder what this is. This thing looks like a voltmeter. And is this the control for that? Gosh, there's so many dials. Why don't you try turning one of them? Nope, nothing. There's no power here, guys. I turned the dial a whole bunch, but even if I turn all the switches on, nothing happens. You are a braver person than I, just randomly flipping switches. They're doing experiments on humans, probably. Oh man, she looks sad. Alright. Let's see. Anything else? Back. And then we're gonna turn. Yeah, Clover, there's a door over here too. Wait, I'll be right there. I can hear her over there. Is this door gonna... of course not. Damn, I can't open it. Clover, what about your side? It won't work. I can't even move the knob. Looks like there's a control for an electronic door lock. There's a red light on the display, that means it's locked. If we can get that light to turn green, maybe we can get Clover back. Well then. This looks like the control for some kind of electric lock. Red light is on. And it's gotta be locked. There's a green light just below it, although that one isn't lit. Better turn on if we can unlock it right. Yes, but how are we going to unlock it? There's no keyhole, no card reader, no keyboard for putting in a password. I have no idea. Looks like this door is the exit. The door on the right just goes to the laboratory. Nope, this door isn't going anywhere. No dice. It won't open. I mean, that's about as much as I expected, but I don't think Zero would let us out of the room quite that easily. You know, just once, maybe? Alright. What do we got? There's a lot of stuff here. I don't know how we could use... I don't know how we could use any of these. Well, I can say for sure that I do know how to use at least one of these things. Which one? The one on top. I think it's a power cable. The power cable, huh? I'll take that. Yoink. 3-pronged power cable. Nice. Stand for various pieces of equipment. Some of them might be useful. For certain values of useful, yeah. Alright. Clock. The hands on the clock have stopped moving. The clock may stop, but time goes on. No time to screw around. We need to figure out a way out of here. So it's 12:26, according to the clock. Wonder what this cable is connected to. Okay, one side of this thing is in the room with us. The other side extends into the laboratory where Clover is. In other words, the console in front of us is connected to the device in the laboratory. I think this thing's supposed to power that machine in the other room. Well, it doesn't appear to be doing that. I wonder how we're supposed to turn it on. This is a keyhole. This looks like a keyhole for the activation key. This is a really old type of keyboard. With apparently no spacebar. Man. I guess that predates even a Model M. Let's see. I already looked at that. There are 2 levers here. Do you think they activate something? Well, why don't you move one? Alright, I'll give it a try. Oh boy. Nope. Doesn't look like anything's happened. Alright. Oh hey, a computer with an actual monitor. They're cardboard boxes. There's some papers and stuff in them. What's in the boxes? They look quite full. As far as I can tell, it's a bunch of notes about some kind of experiments, but it's all really technical and stuff. I don't really get it. Oh. Ethanol. Ethanol. These lockers are a little larger than the ones on top. See if there's anything useful in here. And no, nothing. A whole bunch of steel lockers. The 9 on the right all have red lights on them. Red lights, huh? Well, can't hurt to give these babies a try. Yep, just as I thought. Loctite, all 9 of them. I wonder if there's anything important in there. Alright, those boxes are nothing. Alright, let's look at the computer. The mouse. The keyboard, which has no spacebar. Who uses a keyboard with no spacebar? This is the computer. No, that is a monitor, Junpei. Not a computer. The power isn't on. Well, there is a power button. This is a waste of time. What? I don't see a power cable. Oh yeah, you're right. No power cable. This thing isn't even connected to a main computer, though. It's got a monitor, keyboard, and mouse, but that's it. Just sticking the power cable in isn't going to do anything. Oh, I don't know about that. Junpei, can we get back to what we were talking about, please? This computer doesn't have a power cable. No, it sure doesn't. And? Don't say and, it's rude. Have you already forgotten what you just picked up? Yes, I understand, Lotus. There we go. The monitor doesn't have a power cable. So one end of this cable needs to be connected to a monitor and the other end needs to be plugged in under the desk. Alright, let's just slip you in and... Oh shoot, I can't use this. What's wrong? This cable has 3 prongs, but the socket only has 2 holes. God, why would you not ground your... Okay, whatever. It's not going to fit is what I'm saying. In other words, we're going to need a plug to change the power cable to one with 2 prongs. Or you could break off the whatever. Yeah, I don't recommend doing that. Alright. No. Alright, let's see if we can slip her the ethanol. Clover, use this ethanol. You should be able to wipe off that permanent ink with it. What am I going to wipe with? Well, your clothes, of course. Haha, just kidding. Just kidding. Please don't look at me like that. You're scaring me. I mean, why wouldn't you? Alright, let's do this again. Clover, can you use the cloth on the table? Oh. So we got ethanol, I'll use it to wash off all the stuff from the permanent marker, okay? Right, okay, so I gotta soak the cloth with ethanol. Well, she got the cloth, but she seems to be having a little trouble with the bottle of ethanol. When she's ready, I should ask her to get work on that stuff on the table. Soak the cloth in ethanol and... Junpei, it's working, it's wiping the permanent ink off. There's some kind of weird drawing under all the permanent ink. What's the deal with that drawing Clover found? Maybe I should ask her to take another look at the table. I wonder what this is. There are a bunch of numbers in some kind of grid. I can't see it from here. Clover, you got a pen and notebook, right? Can you write those numbers down and hand them to me through the bars? Okay, roger. It's a rack. There are some cables, copper wire exposed. What do you mean? Does the plug have 3 prongs or 2? I don't know what you're talking about. Let me go look. She does have to kind of crouch down to get a look under there. The cable on the monitor it's got 2 of those little metal things. What does that mean? That's it. Okay, can you unplug that cable and bring it over here? Okay, but... Well, I can unplug it, but it's connected to the main computer. I can't take it over to you. Damn it, that's no good then. Well, how about just the plug? What? The plug? Well, maybe more like a connector? Sort of thing that makes the plug with the 3 metal thingies into a plug with 2 metal thingies. Still useless? Not useless. Not useless at all. It's just what we're looking for. Okay. Can you hold on for a little bit? And back down she goes. Alright. Unplugged. I'll hand it to you over the bars, okay? Alright. Boom. 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 Here, Junpei. Write all down those numbers from the desk on here. With numbers on it, acquired. New material has been added to the file screen. Here you go, the 2-prong plug. Thanks. And then we're going to combine with... Okay. 2-prong power cable. It fits perfectly. This should be just what we needed. Alright, when we're looking at the files... No, Clover's note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Alright, I've got the 2-pronged power cable in hand. Pretty sure this will work. Under the desk I go. And let's just plug this thing into the monitor. Alright, that ought to do it. Oh, for a second I thought she was on the monitor. I'm like, that's freaky as fuck. Alright, let's turn the power on. I don't think anything's gonna happen. Why not? Well, it's not connected to the main computer. You never know until you try. Pretty optimistic. Junpei pushed the button in front of the monitor.
Oh, that worked.
That buzz sounded like the mains voltage on a old CRT, but it's clearly an LCD. Stream of letters that made no sense to Junpei began scrolling across the screen. Updating RSF file. Make dir, make BC, 23 seconds start.
What?
What? He had hoped it would turn on, but he hadn't expected this.
It's running on its own?
It certainly looks like it.
Isn't that kinda weird?
It's a dummy terminal.
What?
Well, it's not connected to the main computer, right? There's just this keyboard and monitor. The only cable connected to this thing is the power cable we just plugged in. So, why is it working?
Maybe it's a wireless display.
Clearly this was a reasonable explanation to Lotus.
A wireless display?
Yeah, not all that common back in 2009.
Yes, it connects to your computer wirelessly, hence the name. Have you been living in a cave, Junpei?
He most certainly had not, but...
Is that normal?
Yes, at least where I worked.
No comment.
Oh.
Oh, it stopped.
Pass with a colon.
Looks like we need to enter a password.
Again? There must be a hint around here somewhere.
Could you go take a look?
Yeah, I'm on it. What are you going to do?
I'll see if I can do something about this on my own.
On your own?
Yep, on my own.
Lotus?
Incredulously, Lotus pulled over the nearest chair and dropped herself down into it in front of the keyboard. For a second she stared at the screen. She kneaded her hands, knuckles popping. Pop some knuckles myself. Twisted her back, left, then right.
All right. Let's kick some ass.
Lotus smiled to herself and rubbed her hands together in anticipation. Then before Junpei had time to blink, she was typing at an incredible speed, the click-clack of the keys running together like machine gun fire, on a keyboard with no space bar.
Wait, what?
Junpei was for once at a loss for words.
Didn't expect that, did you?
Of course I didn't. You're typing so fast, I can't even see your fingers. What kind of job do you have? What are you?
I'm unemployed at the moment. I used to work for a cybersecurity firm, but I quit.
Why?
Lotus blinked.
Huh? Oh, it was just something.
Something. She stopped typing for a moment and her face
I
fell. This was not an avenue of questioning to be pursued, Junpei realized, and quickly shut his mouth. Alyssa's fingers began to move again, and in a few seconds she was back up to speed. She typed more letters and symbols that meant nothing to Junpei began to pour across the screen.
Oh, what are you doing now?
I'm going to try and brute force it.
Brute what?
A brute force attack is... Well, the short version is that I just attacked the thing head on. The long version?
You're literally going to try typing every single password you can think of. Without looking up or slowing down, she began to
A
explain.
brute force attack is one of the simplest ways to break a cipher. It checks every possible combination until it finds the right one. For a complex cipher, it can take a very long time. I'm writing a program that would run an attack like that on its own. It's not the most elegant solution, certainly. But given the circumstances, there isn't much else I can do.
Even as she talked, her fingers never slowed or missed a key. Junpei couldn't help but feel a little awed.
No, but back to what we were talking about earlier.
What were we talking about?
The wireless display? It's kind of strange if you think about it, isn't it? How do I put it? Well, let's say you write a program that calculates an addition problem for you, all right? So you enter 1 plus 1. The screen will show you 2. See? Isn't that strange?
No? Not really.
Oh, come on now. Of course a caveman like you would think it was strange. You said so just a minute ago.
Microphone, there we go.
You're just not getting it, are you?
He's not getting it.
Who calculated 1 plus 1?
The main computer, right? You said it connected to the monitor wirelessly.
Yeah, but someone who grew up in a cave wouldn't know that, right? They'd probably think that this thing here, the monitor, is doing the calculating. And once they've decided that, they'll start examining this monitor. They might poke the screen or something. Ah, I see the color changes when I press it here. Then they might investigate the hardware on the inside. Oh, I see. So this wire supplies the power.
Right.
Eventually, they might even cut the wires. Ah, yes. Just as I expected. When this wire is cut, no results appear.
That's right.
Therefore, it must be this device which does the calculations.
Oh.
But the truth is that, just like you said, the computer is doing the calculating. But these cave people wouldn't know that, because they have no idea that the monitor and the computer are connected wirelessly.
Let us continue to type. Junpei scratched his head. This is your current philosophy for the episode.
So, what are you trying to say?
Nothing, really. It's just, I thought maybe, what if the relationship between human beings and our brains is like that?
Huh?
Well, let's say you stick a bunch of electrodes into parts of the brain. A scientist examining the signals they send out might say, interesting. So stimulating this part of the brain causes the person to see colors. That must mean this neuron cluster controls that function.
Something like that.
Okay, let's see what happens when I cut out this part. Ah, just what I thought. Cutting off this part causes that function to cease. Therefore, human thought processes must occur in the human brain. See? Doesn't it sound the same? Maybe the brain is just an output device, like this monitor. Maybe our thought processes actually occur somewhere else, in a main body. We just don't know it. We never even think about it. just like those cave people wouldn't know about wireless communications, we can't imagine that there's some unknown medium that transfers information into our brains, where we experience that information as thoughts.
Junpei didn't say anything. Not so much because he had no retort. No, her arguments just seemed silly, and he was a little surprised to be hearing something like it from someone like her. What do you mean, someone like her?
The brain is just an output device. Human thought actually occurs somewhere else. That's just crazy talk.
Did Lotus really think that, he wondered? It was a little creepy, Junpei thought. It sounded altogether too much like a bizarre cultish religion.
Maybe that's the cause of Seven's amnesia.
Oblivious to Junpei's increasing discomfort, Lotus continued.
If memory is actually stored somewhere else, in some sort of main body somewhere, maybe he hasn't forgotten anything at all. He's just having a difficult time accessing his memories because the monitor, his brain, has been damaged.
Huh.
I suppose that would explain Aphasia and Blindsight, too. Perhaps they actually can speak or see. The monitor just isn't functioning properly. I guess people with Prosopagnosia could be suffering from the same thing.
Just whipping out Prosopagnosia, huh?
Wait a minute. What?
He knew what aphasia was from watching medical dramas on TV, and Blindsight was easy enough to guess, but he'd never heard of the word prosopagnosia before.
What? You've never heard of Prosopagnosia?
Lotus spun around in her chair to look at him. Junpei just shrugged and shook his head. Apparently she's typing without looking.
No. What is it?
Well, put simply, it means a condition where the mind can't distinguish between human faces.
Face
In other
blindness.
words, my face would look the same as Clover's or even yours. So they can't remember faces, which is how most people recognize each other.
One of the ways people recognize each other,
That
yeah.
means that people with prosopagnosia have trouble recognizing even people they're close to. Usually they can make do by associating people with other things. Their voices, their clothes, their hair.
Does that mean other people's faces look like blanks?
No, I don't think so. Well, you've seen monkeys, like in a zoo, right? To you and me, all the monkey faces look the same. Even though they've obviously got faces. It's almost impossible for a human to distinguish between them. The zoo staff that works with them would learn to identify different monkeys eventually. But you or I couldn't, unless one had a scar or something else to set it apart. Well, that's how people would be to someone with prosopagnosia.
Prosopagnosia. Huh. I didn't even know that kind of thing existed.
This game teaches you all kinds of new things you didn't know. Junpei did his best to act as though the entire lecture hadn't gone entirely over his head.
And, what were we talking about?
The idea that your brain is just an output device, like a monitor.
Are you serious about that stuff?
Why wouldn't she be?
Not really. I was just kidding for about half of it.
What about the other half?
Well, I guess I was just adulting.
Not funny.
Kidding. Adulting. Nice. Lotus's smile had become something rather masochistic to it.
It's nothing more than a story I made up out of boredom. Don't take it seriously.
Oh, I'm taking it seriously.
It was the first thing that came to mind, and I just talked about it to kill time. But looks like I don't need to talk anymore.
Why?
I don't have to kill time any longer.
As she spoke, Lotus raised her right arm high and brought it down on the enter key.
Oh, then you finished that brute whatever thing?
Brute force did.
I certainly did. And let's see what we got.
Chunks of text flickered on and off in quick succession, and then lines of numbers appeared, blinked, and disappeared. The screen cleared, and all that was left was the word accepted.
Piece of cake.
Lotus would clearly have patted herself on the back if it had not made her look entirely ridiculous. After a few seconds, the accepted disappeared to be replaced with 9 squares in a 9 squares arranged in a 3x3 square.
The screen changed again. What the hell is that?
No idea. Looks like a puzzle.
Alright. Suddenly Lotus stood up.
Aren't you gonna, I don't know, do more computer stuff?
No, I can't do anymore. It won't let me do any more programming. See? The keyboard. Nothing. So, there's nothing more I can do. Well, I guess I'll leave this to you then, Junpei.
What?
Dang.
Maybe take a break, alright? I did my part.
Well...
He wasn't sure what to say to that. She certainly had done her part. In fact, without Lotus, they probably would have run completely aground. Shouldn't rely on other people so much, Junpei thought to himself.
You're right. Thanks, Lotus.
No problem. Make sure you know when you should thank people.
Now, I better take care of this myself. No more relying on anyone else.
What a weird thing to say. Junpei crossed his arms and stared at the puzzle shown on the screen. Alright, well, let's look at the file. There's what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. I solved it. Did you hear a noise just now? Yeah, I did. It sounded like something unlocking. Where did it come from? Look, Junpei, the lights in the lockers are green. Then we must have unlocked it with the computer puzzle. Hey. There's more than one key in here. This one is small and looks like it goes to some sort of machine. And this one has the Earth symbol on it. I think the Earth symbol matches a keyhole in the door on A deck. If that's the case, we probably don't need the Earth key right now. Alright then, Earth key. I'll just tuck you away deep in my pocket. It's for the other key. .com. Alright. It was just that moment that he heard a voice behind him. It was Clover.
Hey, Junpei, do you have a minute?
He put the puzzle aside for the moment and walked over to Clover.
What's up?
I wanted to ask you something.
Go ahead, ask me something.
Junpei, you went into door 5 with my brother, right? Did you hear him say, like, anything weird?
Huh?
Was she asking me this? Junpei wondered. The more I thought about it, however, the more it made sense. Snake had been gone for a long time. Clover was quite attached to her brother. Of course she would have been worried about him.
Well, let me think.
Thought back to when he had gone through door 5, hoping he might remember something, even a small something that would help her. However...
Sorry, Clover. I can't really think of anything. I mean, he did mention that his hearing exceeds that of a regular person, or something like that, but that's about it.
Okay.
Clover's words were barely audible. She nodded vaguely to Junpei and turned to walk
hey,
away.
Wait a minute.
Hmm?
Look, I don't know if I should ask you things, but if you don't mind, I was hoping you could tell me if, is Snake, I mean, was he born?
You're talking about his eyes?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't born blind. When he was a kid, he got in an accident. A really bad car accident. He couldn't see after that. And his arm.
His arm?
Yeah. My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm.
It's prosthetic?
It's fake. It's not a real arm. The accident hurt him really bad. To save him, they had to cut off his arm.
Oh.
Is that all you wanted to ask me?
Talking about her brother had clearly taken a great deal out of Clover. Junpei
Look,
nodded.
I'm sorry for making you talk about all that painful stuff.
It's not that.
Clover only shook her head and walked off down the stairs. Alright, back to the puzzle. Alright, we're gonna... Use the key here. And it's full of letters. My god, it's full of letters! It's showing some kind of warning. Power restored to experimental device. Emergency system will activate in the event of abnormal subject behavior. Okay. Yeah, that would be my response. Okay. Typing on this keyboard ain't doing squat. Alright, that's fine. Alright. Junpei, this thing in here is now on. Because we activated the power over on this side. Could you like play with it a little? Okay. Yeah, I'll turn this dial here. Turn. I don't think it's working. Nothing's happening. Well, maybe she missed something. Should ask her to look around the room again. It's a rack. There's some cables on the... Alright. Can't really see well. It looks like there are a bunch of electrodes sticking out of its head. This is the monitor. There's a whole lot of cables under this table. Wash basin, more commonly known as a sink. That's funny. Short flight of stairs. This drain is for water, huh? Well, there's nothing here. Interesting. Increase the voltage, Roger will do. Going all the way to max voltage. Max voltage, hey! Wait, Clover. Ah, shit. What? I think, my head's on fire. Oh my god, making its head. It's like a fire alarm. God, what the hell? Fire detected, fire detected. Emergency system will be activated. Evacuate the room immediately. Mecha's head is on fire. No laughing matter. If I don't do something, Clover will. Oh hey. Junpei, look at the light. Yeah, green. The emergency system has activated and disabled the lock. Now we can save Clover. Junpei. Come on, kid. Jump. She's safe. Oh man, that smoke is some serious business. I'll close the door again, I think. Are you okay? Are you hurt? Cough. Yeah, she's coughing, sorry. Of course I'm not alright. What the hell took you so long, you big jerk? I was almost dead. Sorry, I was going as fast as I could. You two can do this later. Right now we need to get the hell out of here. That fire's not going to stay in that room forever. Alright. I think that's it. I found it. Okay. Junpei, Clover, and Lotus leapt out of the laboratory, slamming the door shut behind them. Cool. We managed to get out of the room. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the stream here, stop the recording, upload the video, and then I'll maybe be back in a few minutes. I will see you soon. Alright, take care.